Hello, everyone, and welcome to Salvos Moneycare webinars Money Essentials series. This is the first one on the Monday, and I thank you for joining us. Sorry, we're running a little bit behind time, but maybe that's given us a bit of extra time for people to jump in on this Monday. So welcome and thanks for joining from wherever you are across the country. I'm dialing in from Newcastle in New South Wales. My name's Jono. I head up our You're the Boss program at Salvos, which aims to help people get in control of their money. And every day this week, as part of Anti-Poverty Week, we're hosting a short presentation on a range of different topics that help you master your money. And today we're hoping to be joined by video, but it may just be audio. We're having a few technical sort of issues. We're joined by Bernie, who's a financial counsellor from Sydney, and she's going to be here to talk to us today about buying your dream car, topic you're probably many of you are interested in. You've got your own experience perhaps, or perhaps you're a first time into the car market. So yeah, looking forward to hearing from Bernie in a moment. Just a couple of housekeeping things before we do dive in. If you've got any questions about today's topic, I really encourage you to type them in. You can click in on the Q&A button. There's a little Q&A button you'll hopefully find on the right side of your screen. You can type into a box there and then click send. Look, we might not get time to get to everyone's questions today. And if we don't get to yours, please get in touch. We'll give some contact details at the end. Best way is to email us, but we'll give you those details. But hopefully we can get to the questions that you guys have got. And we'll be recording this webinar. It will be available along with all the others from this week. So if you missed stuff from today, or you've got a friend that you think would benefit from this, it's going to be up and available. We'll send a link out following this webinar with some sort of useful information from today, a little action plan so you guys can get started with your own car plans, and we'll send that out following the webinar. So without any further talk from me, I'm going to throw it over to Bernie, and she's calling in via audio, so forgive us if the quality's a little bit not as good as my voice, but she'll be talking through today's topic. So thanks again, and enjoy. I'll see you at the end.
Good afternoon, it's Bernie speaking. I'm just here today to talk to you, as Jono said, about buying a car. I'm a financial counsellor. I've been working for the Salvation Army for 12 years, and one of the big things we see as financial counsellors is people who drive themselves off a cliff financially when they're buying a car. So I'm just going to go through a few tips today. It's quite an extensive topic, and all of the information I'm giving you is quoted more extensively on the moneysmart.gov.au website. So what was your first car, Jono? What was the first car you bought?
Oh, Bernie, I hope you'd ask me that question.
My first car was a bomb. It was a Toyota Corolla, which are usually quite reliable, but very cheap. Cash in here, I think it was $1,000, and I loved it.
Oh, that's good. Well, I didn't own the car until much later in life because my husband, I just drove his car. So my car, I didn't have any car expenses. It was sort of like it became a family expense. But I know as a parent, getting your children learning to drive and getting a car, it's a big deal. So we've had a few experiences with that. So my children and I just let them drive around in the family car, which gave them some time to save and then buy their own cars. And then my son's first car that he purchased was actually only $100. So he registered it himself, and he bought a Corolla as well, which proved to be very reliable until it was written off a couple of weeks ago in an accident that was not his fault. So I've got some very fresh experience from that. So we'll go through that. So one thing I wanted to just start with is how much it actually costs per year to run. It's about $7,000 a year to run a car, and there's some expenses that you need to be aware of before you even think about buying a car. So first thing you need to know is the car needs to be registered, which I think most people are aware of, but then that comes with, in New South Wales, you need to purchase a green slip. So a green slip covers the injuries to another person in an accident, and that's all. There is also other kinds of insurance that you need to buy, which I'll go through in other slides. There's also, so there'd be a green slip, there's third-party insurance, and then there's comprehensive insurance. There's 3 different categories. There's also would be petrol put in the car, and then you may need to use tolls, so it would be a good idea for you to purchase an e-tag. Now, if you don't have an e-tag and you go through the toll booth, you actually incur, and if you don't pay it within 24 hours, you actually incur an extra $20 fee on top of the toll. So as financial counsellors, we see people who have racked up thousands of dollars, even tens of thousands of dollars in e-tag costs. And that's one thing, if you've got a problem with that, that's a good idea to contact a financial counsellor who can work through that with you. And there's also would be maintenance of the vehicle and finance. The next slide we have is working out a budget, whether you can actually even afford a car. So to work out a budget, that's just looking at how your money moves around to see what you can afford and to start saving for a car. Like a good idea would be to be saving what you think your repayments might be and what your expenses are, and see if that you've got enough money at the end of the week or month or whatever your pay is to actually see if you can actually afford to do it before you even think about going ahead to make sure it's affordable. Because some people think maybe I've got a couple $100 a week, and then I practice saving that couple $100 a week to see if you can actually afford what you feel like that you'll be committing to. And a financial counsellor can help you work on a budget as well. So if you weren't sure how to even go about that, we've got lots of things we can do to help you go through your money, and tools that we can show you. And you can go through that with the Salvation Army Moneycare financial counsellor. Also, when you're thinking about buying a car, you'd be looking about what kind of car that you want and where to buy it from. So you'd be looking at shopping around. So you can have a look at private sales. So that's just people like carsales.com.au and car yards, and as well as auctions. So there's those 3 opportunities that you would have to have a look at those ideas for purchasing. Also, in the next slide, as a parent, and it's usually parents, but it could be someone else, is if you are going to guarantee a loan for someone else. So if you're guaranteeing a loan for finance, that means if that person can't afford to pay, they're going to ask you for the money to pay. Now, this is a very important thing to know, that if that person can't pay the debt, they'll actually come after you to pay the money. So it often is one of the saddest things we see as financial counsellors, because people don't really understand the full ramifications of what they've committed to. So you're asked to guarantee a loan because usually the person they believe is too high risk and they can't afford to repay it. So if they're in a position to ask them to guarantee, you've got to really think really hard whether are you prepared to pay that debt for that person. There's also, in financing, we're on the next slide now for car loans, check the interest rate and then work out payments using a loan calculator. So you put up the loan calculator there, Jono? Can you put that screen up?
Certainly can. Just give me one moment. Okay, that's up and ready.
Okay, so if we put into that loan calculator, say $25,000,
Yep.
Over 5 years at, say, 8.9%.
Yep.
And so that will show how much interest that you're paying on that loan and how much your repayments are per month. Like, it's a really good idea to put different numbers in that calculator, especially when you're getting advice or shopping around for a car loan. It's just as important to shop around for a car loan as it is shopping around for a car. So, you know, you want to check out the interest rate and use these loan calculators. Like, so when, as I told you, my son has bought his car for $100 and now that car's gone, he's looking at new cars. So in his research, he found that the interest rates went from 8.9% to 17%. So there's a huge difference in how much interest that you pay. And we all know in the bank at the moment, you get less than 1% interest rate. So this is a very high cost endeavour to actually borrow money for a car, and you want to make sure that that's affordable. You also need to know that if you don't pay, they're often car loans. Car loans are generally fixed. So a fixed loan, if you wanted to pay it off sooner, there's actually no financial benefit to you at all. It's good because it gets it off your balance sheet and out of your budget, but financially, it's not cheaper. So you need to understand that. Like a personal loan at a variable rate, you could pay that off sooner, but generally a car loan is fixed. And so if it's at 17%, you think, oh, well, I'll pay it off early. Well, you're not going to be better off financially. I had a call from someone who wanted to take some money out of their super to pay off a car loan, but I said the car loan's fixed, so it's not really worth getting your money out of your super because he's not financially any better off. So doing those calculations and then spending time with different interest rates is really beneficial, just so you can understand exactly how much that you're going to pay back. So the next slide that we have is for car insurance. So there's I'll just run through the different kinds of car insurance that there is. So we talked about CTP insurance. So CTP is, as I said before, is for goes with your green slip, and that is for injuries to another person. There is also, so that's all it covers, and you have to have that to go with your car registration, and they won't register your car at all. If you don't register your car and you drive around without registration, you could get pulled over by the police and it costs $600 in a fine, and so you don't need fines. So the next level of insurance that would be third-party insurance. Now, third-party covers third-party property. So that's the other person's car if you have an accident, or say if you damage someone's property. So it's not unusual. I've met a few people that have actually sort of like gone through somebody's fence, and then so it would cover the cost of the repairs to a house because they've sort of had an accident and gone through somebody's fence. So that would be how we could. That's what third party's for. There's also comprehensive insurance, which is everything. So that's third party and your own car, damage to the other person's property, the other person's car as well. So that's what that would cover. Also, you need to be aware of with insurance is how much, there's always an excess. So sometimes if you pay a higher excess, generally, if you pay a higher excess, then your premium would be lower. So if you don't have an accident, then that would be something that would be cheaper for you to buy. So your premium would be cheaper, but if you had an accident, the excess would be higher, and you can negotiate those things as well. There's also, if you are on a low income, Good Shepherd Microfinance have economical policies for cars valued at $5,000. So, that's something good to check out as well. And there's also the Insurance Law Service who assists people that have problems with insurance claims, including car claims, and their number is 1300 663 664. So, and I would also highly recommend that you download the Money Smart Cars app. So that is on the final slide, so that you can put in all of your calculations off that app, and then muck around with it all you like and practice, and you can work on your loan details and buying advice. So that's a really great app. Now I can't say enough how great this Money Smart website is. And then there's lots of tools there that we can use, which is the budget calculator that we talked about, and there's personal loans, these are loan calculators and things that we could. I'd suggest that this is a very big purchase for people, and even if you're buying a cheap car, it's really important that you go through your numbers to see how much money that you can afford. So that just brings us to our 20 minutes. So just wanting to. Is there any questions there, John?
Oh, Bernie, you've done well. You've covered so much in a short space of time. And for me, I think you've done a fantastic job of really giving a wonderful overview of all you need to know. I think the essentials of buying a car. So I think you've covered it beautifully. We haven't had any questions up in the chat, so they're a bit of a quiet audience today, but that's okay. I hope that means their questions have been answered. If they haven't been answered, there could still be the opportunity, as we said, to ask those questions to us at the end of the webinar. And I think over in the chat right now, we're popping up a couple of things. One of those is an email address that you can get in touch with us if there was something from today, a burning question that you didn't get to, or something like that. Please do email us the details there. And the other thing we'd love you to do is just to complete a short, just a 2-minute feedback survey. The link again is going up in the chat. And that's a really great way to help us know how we can do better. And and you can let us know what you thought, what we could do differently the next time. So that's really helpful if you can get to that.
How long should it take me to work out?
Yes, so just another reminder that there'll be an email to go out at the end with the sort of key points from today, leading you to action. But I do thank you for joining us. And I thank Bernie again for putting up with the technology and all of us, battling the technology. But thanks Bernie for doing that. Thanks to all of you. We wish you all the best of the day. Please join us for the rest of the webinars tomorrow at 12. The next one is at 12 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So it's a great schedule for you guys to join in. So thank you, and see you next time.